city up north, recently transferred to the mountains of West Virginia, from Connecticut to West Virginia, and was on her first tour of the new territory when she came across the tiniest cabin that she had ever seen in her life. Intrigued, she went up and knocked on the door. "Anybody home?" she asked. "Yep," replied the kid's voice through the door. "Is your father there?" asked the social worker. "Pa? No, he left before Ma came in," said the kid. "Well, is your mother there?" The social worker persisted. "Mom? No, she left just before I got here," said the kid. "But," protested the social worker, thinking that she would surely need to intervene in this situation, says, "Are you never together as a family?" "Sure, but not here," says the kid. "This is the outhouse." Government workers are so smart. Aren't you overjoyed that they'll soon be handling all our financial, educational, and medical dilemmas? It's nice for you to zone. I'd like you to zone in just a minute and think back to something that really, really made you nervous when you were a teenager. Even cost you sleep that today you wouldn't even give a second thought. It wouldn't bother you at all. I don't remember the word phobia being used. We were just scared. We were scared of the dark. We were scared of high places. Or we were scared of closed-in places. You know, a trip with Billy Gross down to Billy Gross and I, he talked me into doing a lot of stuff, but one of them was spelunking. Spelunking, by the way, is cave exploring. We went 2.5 miles down into a cave once. And I promise you, it brought out all of our phobias. I went in the mouth of the cave, I started sliding backwards in the dark for like 50 feet, screaming. And Gross said, "Are you okay?" Well, no, I was always afraid of the dark. I think I got over the fear of the darkness there, and a few other things. The fear of rejection is something that has impacted everyone. It probably started with some of us who were breastfed babies who were weaned. Stop and think about it. You were rejected. The question then was, the kid, after he's been rejected, and as I recall, ladies did all sorts of things to wean their children. And I'm thinking about the kid, oh great, what's next? Some of them were never weaned. Watch out, ladies, you got some still out here that aren't weaned. We've all been rejected one way or another. Unrequited love is one way. You know, you get your heart broke, you get back on the horse and ride again. You know, you get over it. Okay, loans from a bank, that's rejected. Getting something published, didn't make a cheerleader squad. Think about that. These were big things to people when they happen. Not making an athletic team. Not making an athletic team. I still have some memories about that today. The first time I went out for a team, a baseball team, Little League, I'd never played before in my life. And I don't blame you don't have so many uniforms. And I came up short. I didn't get the uniform. Okay, so I didn't get it. That's the one thing that I remember about Hal Huey. When I was 13, I was playing Western Carolina League. He had one last uniform, and I wasn't 13, and I could lay claim to being Murray Hall's teammate for 2 weeks. And I got to be Murray Hall's teammate. I thought that was great for 2 weeks. And I got a uniform, you know, so I finally got to get on the field that I loved. Remember getting enough nerve to walk across the floor and ask someone to dance. Now, that might sound small today, but you think about it a minute, because when you were young, let's say junior high, and the wallflowers would stand over on one wall, and the girls are standing on the other side, and for you to ask a girl to dance, you had to walk across that floor. Think about it a minute. You had to walk across that floor, and you had to think about being rejected in front of your friends. And then on the other side of the coin, think about the girl on the other side that wasn't asked to dance. Because this is a two-way thing. They're standing over there, and if you're left standing all night, no one asked you for a dance. But you don't know that. You didn't think about that. You just think about yourself going over there and asking that girl to dance. And finally, you take that long, you get enough guts, that girl that you just, that Becky Smith, you know, she didn't do this to me. I'm just using that as an example. But you walk across that floor and say, oh, I've been looking at that good-looking girl so long. And then I'm going to ask her to dance at the teenage community. So you go over there and you ask her to dance. And then you get across there and your buddies are watching because they're taking this in. They don't have anything to risk. We'll watch and see what happens here. And she says, nah, I'm setting this one out. So you kind of slink back. You slink back to your wall and hide. You feel like 100,000 eyes are watching, right? Okay. So you got to remember this. If this happens one time to someone, what you didn't see at the time, prom is going to be approaching someday. Prom is going to be approaching. Prom and the drama that was created, the strategies. There are girls today that are still feeling rejected because they weren't asked, and somebody didn't consider the fact that it was because some guy didn't want to get shot down. You know, they're afraid they're going to ask somebody to get shot down. So some of them wound up not getting dates. I like the ones who went stag. I went stag my senior year. I went stag and just danced with everybody, you know, and felt good doing it. Guys and girls at the drive-in. Some heavy breathing and petting going on. If it's wintertime, the windows are fogging up. She realizes that it's about to get out of hand and says, we need to stop. We can't do this. I can't stop you. And you're thinking, good. I said, stop, dadgummit, and she finally says, trying to put her on a guilt trip because of being turned down, he says, do you realize that I could be a victim of blue balsia? Because of that, he asked, what is that? She says. He goes on to explain that the blue balsia syndrome is when the rejected male suffers pain in the frontal abdominal region of his body. Now, Don Brown, to my knowledge, was never rejected. He never was rejected. But just witnessing others being rejected caused a dark cloud to form over that guy. Just watching other people being rejected put a dark cloud over him. He was just in the worst funk of his life and was terribly, terribly low. He even came to me about his problem. Being kind of a victor, big brother, and I did the best I could to bring the guy back to life, but he needed someone a little more professional. He had lost his mojo, and he needed to get it back, his confidence. I told him that was way out of my area. I wasn't equipped to handle his problem, and that he needed to go see another victor brother, Duck Stewart. Now, Duck lives in South Myrtle Beach around Garden City and does a lot of different stuff. Taking charge of people's emotional problems is something he is good at. He's cool and a take charge kind of guy, being a former Greer High quarterback and all. And knowing Don made it even better. So I talked Don into going down there, reasoning that it would do him good just to get away and pick his spirits up, and he did. Duck even had his own advice column there called Dear Duck, and his own counseling office. Yeah. Don asked him when he walked in if he had any kind of a license. He said, no, but I did steal a Holiday Inn Express once. Now sit down and tell me about your problem. Don did, and Duck said, boy, I mean, he went through his problem about not having any confidence, and he was low. Kind of reminds you of that Godfather scene, you know, when the singer comes in and tells the Godfather his problem. And he says, get yourself together, you know, and smacks him. So that's what Duck did. That's what Duck did. You're a Victor boy, he said. Victor boys bounce back. You're right, Don said, and began to perk up a little bit. You're a stud, Don. Went and chased you down the street. Remember that? Do you remember that, Don? Duck really had this guy sky high again. Maybe, I'll tell you what, he was jacked up. He was ready to go. He said, now I want you to go put on your bathing suit. And while you're at it, stuff a potato down your bathing suit and give the women something to look at. Just to give them something to look at. And strut down that beach. Don't walk. You strut down that beach and you show your stuff. Does that work, dumbass? Works for me, said Duck. Now get out of here and show those women what they've been missing. So here he goes. Now get the picture here, okay? As Larry Munson, the Georgia announcer, would say, get the picture. Here he is in his bathing suit. Sucks that chest, sticks that chest out, sucks in his gut here and starts walking down that beach. These legs. He just is grinning every once in a while. He'll stop and give a Tom Jones pelvic thrust. Remember those? Tom Jones? Yeah. And he kept walking out of the beach and people were giving him looks, and he said, oh, this is not working, something's not right. And he's getting back down again because it's just not working. So his head goes down again. There he goes back to Duck's office. And Duck said, what's wrong? He said, well, it's just, they were cold to me. Now they're running in the opposite direction. Bless him. And he said, well, come here and let me take a look at you. And he looks him over real good. And he said, well, I think I see your problem. He said, you need to take that potato out of the back of your bathing suit and put it in front. I do hope that any of you have a similar problem with a friend like Duck to help, and good luck with your folks.
Get a little feedback. One of the pros is going to come up and fix that for us. Thank you, buddy. Christmas Eve, I was sitting on the computer. Kathy was upstairs, and I saw this truck pull in the driveway. A lot of you know where we live, so been up there. A lot of you been up there. Dead end street. About 10:30 in the morning. And I looked and said, well, I don't know who that is. So kind of headed toward the front door, and I hollered up the stairs to Kathy and said, somebody pulled in the driveway, don't come downstairs. So anyway, it was Buddy. Had 3 baskets, wonderful fruit, homemade jellies, candy. Santa Claus came early to the house. Appreciate that, buddy. And I gave my brothers one each as instructed. Homemade jelly, something they used to do a long time ago. Not very many people do that anymore. Homemade muscadine jelly. He told me the other night he went out in the woods and shook the trees with muscadine jelly. And I believe it. Living in Georgia, probably a lot of muscadines down there. By the way, a little bit about Buddy. He grew up on about 8 different mill hills, and he ended up at Victor in the good part of his life. And I've known him all my life. I can't remember, just like Don Brown, I can't remember not knowing Don. Buddy, but Buddy now lives in Gainesville, Georgia. He went to the University of Georgia. Lives in Gainesville. Still coaching football down there in a little academy. So go get them, buddy. You need any advice, call it up. Yeah.